We want the cultural victory in company views.
Make cultural victories great again.
Propaganda victories. Here we go. That will be fun.
Welcome to Dispa Learns to Co.
Welcome
Hello.
to yet another episode of Dispa Learns to Co. This time around,
I'm
we're gonna
desperate.
talk about, and I'm fucked out. No. So this episode is about the single player aspect of Company of Heroes versus the multiplayer.
The Red Ball Express meant priority freight. Lots of it. We must have trucked 1 million tons of supplies up that goddamn road. But Jerry wasn't about to let his keyport city go without a fight. And fight he did.
One of the things that CoH2 was really praised for was the single player campaign, right? So, and how it delivered this very immersive
Yes, I remember.
narrative with the small sections of or platoons or whatever of soldiers, right? And you had all these unique scenarios, all these unique situations where you were equipped with various different stuff, and you had to use that to and you know,
People know single player. Yeah.
and you know, through the entire campaign, right? You got this really nice experience of like being part of the war, right? Being it did very much seem like it was a war game, and you were fighting a war in Europe, but then you get to the multiplayer section, and it's like, okay, here's your base. Now you gotta cap these points or just kill the enemy. Boom.
Yeah.
And that's it. And you know, obviously that's fun as well. You know, it's very fun. But I've always been missing kind of that single player experience in multiplayer.
Yeah.
You know?
The feeling of historical significance or being a part of the war also in multiplayer.
But more, I mean, so if we're gonna talk about how that would actually be able to be implemented, right? I think, you know, maybe if
they tried a bit. They tried a bit in Company of Heroes 2 with these theater of war co-op missions.
But
They
they're
were
still just co-op missions, and they're the same.
Yeah.
Right?
So the scenario is the same. It's not emergent in any way. For the player.
So I imagine some kind of game mode where there is, like, from time to time there are new objectives appearing for each side of each faction. You know, so the allies, okay, maybe they are tasked with protecting a convoy that will come from this part of the map to this part of the map, right? And the Axis, well, they gotta destroy it, and then
I think this is also something that will be implemented, and the reason why is that there is one reason, and it's Battlefield 1 did it or is doing it right now. Have you seen the game mode operations in Battlefield 1? It was just presented.
Isn't that just where, okay, so at a point where the enemy is kind of winning, the other side gets like a last trump card or something?
No. It's not that. It's a whole game mode, and it will probably be the dominating game mode in Battlefield 1 because people just say it's just so fun. So what operations is, and I think this will fit your idea perfectly, is that so when you go into a mission, you're presented with the historical significance, like you get an overview of the battlefield and somebody's telling you why does this mission matter, what are you going to achieve, right? And you get an overview, fly over it. And then the mission is cut into parts, like maybe there are 3 or 4 parts where one team is attacking and the other team is defending. So the attackers has to conquer the whole field, and they get a certain amount of tries, right? So you develop maps, or you split the maps into sections where you have to attack this part and this part and this part, right? and then you can.
Yeah, they also did that back in Battlefield 3. But that's not really what I mean, because every time you play that map, I mean, it's the same thing. You go through the same phases, right?
I imagine.
So in that way, there's nothing.
There's nothing emergent.
Emergent about it.
No. There's nothing. New.
It's still the same stuff you go through every time, right? So what I would like to see is that.
But let me just say, this would still be better than the current thing. I think implementing this kind of thing would also be a nice thing to have in Heroes 2.
Really, what?
Or 3.
I mean, when we talk about emergent gameplay, right? What is needed for that to happen? It's the unexpected, right? Mm-hmm. It's the fact that you cannot see something coming, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's that you cannot prepare for it. Yeah. Or at least you don't know it will be happening, right? So that's how it is with, for example, Battlefield, right? Because it's these different phases, but it's the same every time.
Okay, so let me just give another example of maybe how it could be done. You know, in Heroes and Generals, where you have this huge map of Europe, basically, and then the battles are, you know, the front lines are pushed back and forth.
Like where you take like a battle map system, just like from let's say
they had it in Dawn of War too. Dawn of War,
and Lord of the Rings, Battle for Middle Earth.
So that that the skirmish or the multiplayer match will matter in a grand perspective, right? You will push the front line back and forth. This could be an idea too.
Yeah, but you know, even if you wouldn't do that whole theater of war map, I mean, just the fact that if you just had a big map and you would kind of roam around it and fight the enemy, but then maybe like every 10 minutes or every 15 minutes or so, there would be like an objective, like a big thing you had to focus on.
Like objectives emerging on the map, random objectives.
And not just like, well, you could do this, but you can also just carry. No, I mean like, okay, now you're gonna win if you're gonna do this, or at least you get a big advantage or something like that. You know, where you're really. Where you feel you really have to do this, you know.
I think this is I think it's a good idea, and it's also a necessary idea, because, you know, the community, the Company of Heroes 2 online community is not very big, but it has a fairly big single player community and comp stomp community, right? Like people, or not community, just players. They have a large player base. And I think you really need to tap into this player base in the future. You need to connect these two, the community, online community, and the huge single player base better. Because otherwise you won't have an audience for future RTS games, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, I remember in CoH2 where the start of a campaign was where you started in Wolfhäse, where. Okay, so you were the Germans, right? You had to defend. Wolfhäse. And you had to defend against incoming aircraft. I think it was Operation Market Garden.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And then it was just a little small map at that point, right? So after you completed that objective, well, all of a sudden the map opened up, and you actually had to push forward and you had to hunt some snipers, and then later on it would open up even more, you know, and it would
this is kind of the idea of also Battlefield 1 operations. I don't know, I haven't played it, right? Of course, because it didn't come out yet. So but the idea is that you go further into the map, and you experience the map in different ways depending on the objectives of that. I like the idea. It will also reinvigorate some of the maps, and it would make some you can make it better design decisions, you know, more interesting maps.
Actually, speaking of that whole okay, so by now we've talked about what we kind of want. At the core of it is like this emergent thing, kind of like randomly generated thing, right? Where you can't really prepare for it, and you don't know So it won't be the same every time, and you can't just like, well, okay, we're playing this map, so obviously you're gonna go to this side and you're gonna get on that house because, you learn to do
rush
that.
Rush the house. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it is with everybody. No, a lot of maps.
Yeah.
All maps really, but
when we play.
Yeah, but you kind of see. But yeah, it's this whole like random, unanticipated thing you want, right?
Yeah. It makes you feel immersed into the game. Like that's the thing with single player. You can be surprised, right?
Yeah.
And you really, I think this is just not just something that you and I want. I think it's something that really needs to happen with the RTS genre in general.
Yeah. I mean, because if you look at a multiplayer co-match, right? Mm-hmm. Well, the only thing that really can surprise you is the enemy, not the map and the circumstances itself.
Yeah, it can only frustrate you sometimes. Yeah.
I mean, the circumstances and the map, they're always the same. You can always count on them, right?
And sometimes they're brilliant. To be fair, there are some really good maps out there.
But I'm not. It doesn't matter if they're good maps or bad maps. The thing is, they are always delivering the same experience. So the only way to not have a game that is just like the previous one is to have the enemy like.
Yeah. So do you know in Dawn of War 3, right, that Relic is putting out soon? Will it have some of these components? Because if it has, maybe it will be implemented later in. Okay, I don't know either.
I can't say. But I'm trying to think if there was any other games doing this.
That is some interesting examples of games.
I can't really think of anyone. But yeah, it's kind of funny how. When you look at strategy games in general, right, you always see this dissonance. Is that
like disconnect?
A disconnect, yeah, between the single player and the multiplayer, where it's always this. Okay, in single player, this story. Okay, so it's story. Okay, so it's the story focused. Where this cool experience, and then it's multiplayer in this very And it's this very artificial.
I think you're right. So let's say that, for example, if nobody ever invented strategy games, right, and somebody came up with the idea of a strategy game today, I think you wouldn't even have a difference between single player and multiplayer then, because strategy games are perfect for combining the two, right? Like, of course, it would be the same. You would have. Sub-objectives and stuff in the multiplayer.
I think the challenge is that it has to be well. If you look at how most multiplayer matches are right now, I mean, it's predictable. It's and because it's predictable, it's easy to balance for, right? It's easy to and it's a good thing, and it does deliver a fun experiences, right? But and that's all well and good, but I still just miss that the essence of the experience I get from a single player campaign, right?
Yeah.
And you could do that in multiplayer. I mean, sure, it might take a lot of work to figure out how to properly do it right, but that whole randomly generated objectives thing, I really think that could be a thing.
I don't know about that, but I'm really interested to see how the operations in Battlefield 1 will work out. If it will be interesting and keep on being interesting, these historical objectives and stuff. I'm really looking forward to it, and
I mean, hopefully they will be forever changing, right, and not just be the same for every map.
You said random objectives, but also think about a game like Civilization, where it's not only that you have randomly generated maps. Maybe you won't be able to have that in Combat Affairs 2 because it's more micro based. But think about the victory conditions.
But
you have like 5 victory conditions in Civilization, right? I mean, this is also the thing that we were talking about, that you could also diversify how you win the game in some ways, you know, like when you say you have to protect the convoy or you have to do this and this. Yeah.
Well, in Civilization, it's really not objectives. It's just win conditions.
Yeah.
So, but
we want the cultural victory in company views.
Make cultural victories great again.
Propaganda victories. Here we go. That would be fun.
Yeah, but you know, if you would have like this random objectives game mode in Co, right? I mean, the maps themselves wouldn't have to be randomized, right? Because well, you could be at different parts of the map and not and you know, that wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing, that particular spot you were in. It would all depend on what objective you had at that point, right?
It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could really learn a lot from all those different single player experiences. You know. Yeah.
There's a whole like the whole idea of small tales getting told through gameplay.
I mean.
Very important.
I mean, such a mode right here, right? That would be the ultimate way to deliver such stories, right?
Yeah.
Gunner, point the turret up at that camera in the sky.
Shitstorm, get a shitstorm going.
Yeah.
Down there.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We haven't been posting some videos in a while, but we hope to get these up and rolling now.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, a little teaser before we go.
Yeah.
Boss battle incoming.
Next video.